It's 2:03 a.m. on a rainy Wednesday, and somewhere a cybercriminal hits enter with villainous flair, launching ransomware at a global logistics company. But inside the network, an AI watchdog perks up like it just smelled trouble. It spots a tiny blip in file traffic, something no human would catch mid-snooze. 33 seconds later, the threat is locked down, the hacker's screen is full of errors, and the company's files are untouched. No alarms, no panic, just an AI doing its thing while everyone else sleeps. Cybersecurity has officially gone from caffeine-fueled all-nighters to cool, quiet code combat. The growing imperative for machine speed defense. The stakes have never been higher. IBM's Cost of a Data Breach Report 2024 pegs the average global breach at US dollars 4.88 million, a 10% jump in a single year. Organizations that had already woven AI and automation into their defenses, however, shaved $2.22 million off that bill, turning smart algorithms into seven-figure insurance policies. Attack volume is exploding just as quickly. SlashNext's latest telemetry shows a 1,265% surge in malicious phishing emails since ChatGPT's public debut, while 68% of all phishing now leans on business email compromise lures, many composed by generative models. The lesson is brutal and simple. Attackers have automated their scams, defenders must automate their shields or drown in alerts. Inside an AI cyber guardian. So what actually happens when AI guards a network? First, rivers of raw data, packet captures, endpoint telemetry, identity logs are siphoned into collectors that normalize the chaos into tidy features. Byte histograms, process trees, login velocities. Those vectors feed learning engines that compare every live action against billions of historical patterns, hunting for strange new combinations rather than old signatures. When confidence spikes, orchestration layers fire playbooks that might suspend a single credential, rate limit one device, or shunt suspect traffic into a walled-off VLAN. The entire sense-reason-respond loop can finish in the time it takes a human analyst to glance at a blinking dashboard. Lightning in practice. That theoretical loop is already saving companies. Darktrace's enterprise immune system famously neutralized a ransomware outbreak in just 33 seconds, throttling every attempt to drop encrypted payloads while the on-call team was at home. In 2024, a UK construction conglomerate upgraded to Darktrace's autonomous response module. When a brand new ransomware strain flared across file shares, the AI throttled the worm seconds after it emerged, sparing terabytes of architectural drawings without a single manual keystroke. The Microsoft vs. Storm 0558 saga. Nation-state adversaries fall to AI as well. In mid-2023, the China-linked group Storm 0558 forged authentication tokens to rifle through US government email. Microsoft, whose telemetry pipeline digests 65 trillion security signals every day, flagged the odd tokens, traced them to a stolen signing key, and slammed every door the attackers had pried open. The same machine learning muscle that protects Office 365 users in real time generated a forensic breadcrumb trail detailed in Microsoft's public postmortem just weeks later. Meet the SOC's new colleague. Back in the Security Operations Center, AI has become the tireless junior analyst. CrowdStrike's Charlotte AI now answers plain English questions, writes hunt queries, clusters duplicate alerts, and, crucially, saves more than 40 analyst hours per week at early adopter firms while posting 98% decision accuracy. Gartner analysts see the arc bending even further, predicting that AI will cover up to 70% of threat detection and incident response workloads by 2028, largely as a force multiplier rather than a head cutter. Human hunters are being promoted from log triage to strategy and storytelling. The adversary gets smarter too. Of course, the arms race is symmetrical. Jailbroken models like WormGPT churn out flawless phishing pros, while Google's threat intelligence team recently found that APT actors from Iran and China account for the heaviest misuse of Gemini, leaning on the chatbot to translate spear phishing copy, debug malicious scripts, and research target infrastructure. What was once a cottage industry of cut-and-paste lures is fast becoming an automated machine-generated onslaught. Techniques powering real-time AI defense. Behind these successes lie a mosaic of algorithms. Unsupervised anomaly detection models map normal behavior for every user, SaaS app, and subnet, then flag deviations as subtle as a 0.2% spike in SMB requests. Graph neural networks stitch relationships among billions of entities, exposing hidden privilege escalation paths inside sprawling hybrid clouds. Natural language processors digest unstructured threat intel and even attacker chat logs, converting gossip into actionable signals. Reinforcement learning agents decide whether to kill a process or merely throttle its bandwidth, learn from feedback, and improve. On-top copilots translate arcane detection logic into executive-ready English in seconds, a godsend during crisis briefings. From edge chips to microseconds, real-time means right now, not after SIM indexing. Some vendors have pushed inference onto GPUs embedded in firewalls. Others run distilled models on 5G base stations to block SS7 spoofing before a packet hits the carrier core. As edge compute proliferates, the latency between noticing a threat and stomping it can shrink to microseconds, letting factories, hospitals, and autonomous fleets defend themselves where every millisecond counts. Moving from alerts to autonomy, early AI pilots merely spat out candidate alerts, often more noise than signal. Modern systems operate with bounded autonomy. Darktrace reports that in October 2024 alone, cyber AI analysts saved one enterprise 810 investigation hours by taking micro actions, pausing weird processes, enforcing pattern of life bandwidth, and then messaging the SOC for context. Enterprises typically start with human approval mode, but as confidence builds, they allow immediate action on low-value assets or when model certainty exceeds 90%. The net effect is a slash in mean time to contain and a massive lift in analyst morale. Limitations and risks. No technology is invincible. Adversarial ML attacks can poison training data or craft inputs that evade classifiers. Model drift can trigger false positives after a benign business change. Flooding dashboards. Inference at petabyte scale devours GPU cycles and budgets. Boards, regulators, and auditors increasingly demand explainability. Why exactly did the algorithm block payroll traffic? Putting pressure on vendors to open the black box. And because AI systems themselves digest sensitive data, they must be secured against leakage or manipulation just like any other crown jewel asset. Regulation enters the arena. Lawmakers are taking note. The EU's forthcoming AI Act designates AI for critical infrastructure security as high risk, mandating rigorous pre-market testing, lifecycle monitoring, and human oversight guarantees. Similar scrutiny is brewing in the US through the NIST AI Risk Management Framework and sector-specific rules, such as the SEC's new cyber incident disclosure mandate. In practice, CISOs must now prove not only that their AI detects threats, but also that it does so fairly, transparently, and in compliance with data sovereignty laws. 2025 and beyond. Looking forward, predictive SOCs will merge live telemetry with attack path simulations so AI can deploy controls before exploits appear on vulnerability feeds. Lightweight swarm defense agents across endpoints may soon vote on suspicious behavior, achieving consensus faster than any central SIEM. Generative honeypots could spin up convincing but fake cloud assets to lure adversaries and feed new training data. And closed-loop AI versus AI arenas, red team bots dueling blue team bots, promise to compress years of cat-and-mouse evolution into hours. 5 moves to make now. First, inventory every data stream. AI is only as sharp as the telemetry it consumes. Second, start with AI-assisted triage and graduate to autonomous actions only where confidence is proven. Third, bake analyst feedback into the retraining cycle so the models keep learning. Fourth, red team the AI itself, test it for adversarial blind spots and prompt injection vulnerabilities. Finally, upskill the human talent pool. Tomorrow's analysts will need to interpret model outputs, craft hypothesis-driven hunts, and translate cyber mayhem into boardroom clarity. And that's a wrap on how AI is turning cyber threats into cyber nope. If you learned something new today, or if you just enjoyed watching hackers get outsmarted by a machine with no coffee breaks, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe. Stay safe, stay sharp, and remember, in the war between man, machine, and malware, always bet on the bot.